Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Gribbons, and today I'm going to talk about the different ways to finance a flip project. You guys can like, comment, subscribe below, check out some of my other videos. This video is part of my flipping basics overview of how to do flipping, and so today we're just going to talk about financing, some different types of financing that you can get, what those different types of financing look like, maybe some creative, selective ways of financing that you can find that probably if you're new to this, you have no idea existed. So something to kind of expand you a little bit outside of your horizon, outside of that little box that everybody's kind of stuck in. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started, guys. I'm going to be writing on the whiteboard today. In terms of financing, there's kind of a bunch of different ways that you can finance these projects, and one of the best ways to finance them, and what a lot of flippers do, is they use something called hard money. And if you guys want to take notes for this would be something to definitely take notes on, just because it's kind of a detailed subject. There's a lot going on here. So I would say that most people in the flipping business use hard money to purchase their properties. Now, hard money is a loan. It's basically considered private financing, but it is a type of loan. So a way to think about where this money comes from is it basically comes from banks or hedge funds, or for instance, a lot of rich people will take their money and look for a return on it. They'll have a lot of money in cash, and instead of keeping it in their savings account, they'll make deposits in different places, so that way they can still keep cash, which is somewhat liquidable in these different avenues, but it's creating a return for them. So it's just another way that they can diversify into real estate without being hands-on like you would do flipping. So for instance, the loan and private financing, these come with kind of some interesting terms, right? So they're usually 6 months to 12 months term-wise, but some people will do 12 months to 36-month terms. And these are just kind of the the duration of the loan. So when I say terms, there's different terms of the loan. Rate is a term, duration is a term. All these different pieces of it are terms. So basically, when we say the term, I'm also talking about the time. So this is how long that you could have the money out for. When I say 6 months or 12 months, or 12 months to 36 months, that's talking about how long you can borrow the money for. So the hard money people, usually you will need 10% down, okay? So that's what you, the borrower, need to bring, is 10% down. And 10% down, usually they'll finance, and again, these are all different terms. So there's 1,000 different hard money lenders, and whoever you talk to will have a little bit different scenario. I'm just kind of going over some of the common ones. But basically 10% down is what you'll need, and then they'll also require 2 points at closing. We'll talk about those points in a second, but 10% down, you're going to need 10% down of the purchase price and 10% down of the rehab costs. So the rehab or construction costs, what it costs to fix the place up and add that value. So basically, you're going to pay 10% down on the purchase price and the rehab. So we're just going to say, do a deal here. The purchase price is $100,000 and the rehab is $100,000 here. So you would add these two together. That's $200,000, and then you would basically just multiply this by 0.1 or 10%, and basically you would just get what is that? That's $2,000, $20,000, excuse me. And that would be how much it would cost you out of pocket, $20,000 is what you'd need to put down and what they would require. So that means if you're putting $20,000 down, the bank will lend you 180. Okay, so that's kind of just a good rule of thumb. Most hard money people would do 10% down. And I'm not going to go super deep into the specifics of this. I'm going to have a whole video just on hard money and private financing because there's really so many aspects to this. But what you'll need first, right, is the money down, and then they're going to charge you 2 points. And basically a point, when somebody says they're going to charge you that, a point is paid at closing when you purchase the property, when the loan comes through. And that's the bank saying, okay, if we're going to lend you $180,000, we're going to charge you, 2 points on that, which is basically 2%. So 1 point is 1%, 2 points is 2%. And so they're just going to charge, that's basically for them bringing the money to the table. And that's just what you got to pay. So, 180,000, and my brain's kind of going slow today, guys, so I'm just going to use my calculator. So 180, it's $3,600, okay? So $3,600 is what you would need to bring to closing, plus your $20,000 in order to get this loan, okay? So it's going to cost you $23,600 to get into a project that's $200,000 with this hard money lender. And when we talk about the interest rate and then payments with these hard money lenders are interest only. And if you don't know what interest only means, it basically means that in a traditional loan, you're paying principal and interest. And principal is the pay down of the loan amount. How much is owed? Interest is the bank's fee that they're charging for you borrowing money. So interest-only loans means this number will stay the same the whole time, this 180,000. That number stays the same, it doesn't change. And basically you're just gonna pay interest on the 180,000 at 10%, okay? Now, that sounds crazy, but the 10% is on a year note too, usually. So the way to find this out is to either use Mortgage Calculator online is the easiest way, or you can just take this amount and you can times it by 0.1, okay, which would give you, $18,000, and then you would divide that by 12 since there's 12 months. And basically that will give you your amount that you're paying on your monthly. And so that's the monthly amount that you're going to pay to the bank. So not only does it cost you, $23,600 to do the deal, you're also going to be looking at, those interest-only payments. And I'll go ahead and just figure those out real quick since we know that it's 18,000. So 18,000. Go ahead and follow along if you want, guys. Divided by 12. So that's $1,500 on the dot a month. So 36 plus 23,600 plus 1,500. Come on. Oops. Sorry guys, this calculator sucks. I need to get a new one. So that'd be $25,100 to hold this property for 1 month. So if you purchased the property, you flipped it, and then you got it sold all within 1 month. So from the time that you get the keys to the time that you give the keys to the new seller, if it's 1 month, you'd have that, what was that number, guys? This stupid calculator. Anyways, I'm going to continue on. My brain's not working too great today, but you get the point. So $1,500 a month is the interest. So for example, we will do this one. If you wanted to do, you've got your total to buy into the deal. That's the total just to get the keys for the deal. They fund the loan, okay? $23,600. and then your interest. So if you did 3 months, it took you 3 months, 90 days to sell the property, you'd basically be at what is that, $4,500 in interest. Okay, so then you can add those. Let's see, 23,600 plus 4,500, $28,100. So now you know that basically with this $28,100, you can add that on to your $200,000 number. Nope, excuse me, that's incorrect. You basically would add your $28,100 to the loan amount that you owe, which is $180,000, and subtract that by whatever your selling costs are and whatever your profit is, and that would give you your number of your total profit for the deal. So if that's kind of confusing, guys, I apologize. My brain's kind of stuck on financing and not numbers. So check out the other video that should be in the next segment, talking about how to analyze profit for these deals. Okay, so that's a little bit about hard money. The way to think about it is it's basically a traditional loan structured differently. You're paying interest-only payments. It's expensive with the 10% interest and the points paid at closing. I've seen it up to like 13.99% interest with 3 points at closing. That's kind of getting screwed, but I've seen it out there, and obviously as the market changes with where numbers are at and stuff, then you may see something differently. But that's hard money, guys. So the next thing we'll talk about is some other ways to finance flips that aren't hard money, but hard money is usually the most typical way that people are financing these. So next we're going to talk about private financing, which is similar to hard money, but a little bit different. This is kind of the gold. If you guys can find private financing, flips become really easy, especially if you don't have cash to put money down and if you don't have credit. So private financing is just people with money. So a good example of this is how I do a lot of my flips. I've got a lot of people that are willing to take their money and secure a hard money loan with it. I've got other people that just have cash in a bank and they're looking for a return on their money. And so one way to do that is to buy real estate, rehab it, and then sell it and give them a portion of the profits. So there's all kinds of ways to do private financing, but that's the most typical way. Now, the way a lot of people don't tell you and you don't talk about is people with self-directed retirement accounts. I can't spell, guys, if you haven't watched any of my other videos. So I think that's how it's spelled. I guarantee it's not. But basically these self-directed retirement accounts are people who have 401ks, SEPs, IRAs, that sort of thing. Retirement accounts are huge because a lot of companies will match them. So a lot of people have hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in their retirement accounts, especially when they're 40, 50 years old and they've been working for the past 20 to 30 years making good money. And it's really important that you kind of look into this way of finding money because it gets difficult. It really does. And not everybody's looking in this sector, so this can be a really good way to find some people that maybe are interested in flipping, but didn't realize they could flip because they're like, well, I don't have money in my savings account, but maybe they have a self-directed IRA or they have an IRA they can make self-directed. And this is in a way different topic, way more down the road. You'll need to sign up for my classes, sign up for my online training in order to learn about some of those ways because they get really technical. And in my training that you guys learn about online, it goes really in depth in a lot of this stuff. And this, my training online, this is like one of the first few videos people are learning about. So with that in mind, these are some good ways, and you can secure these using a promissory note, which again we'll talk about in other videos that are a lot more in depth, so you'll need to sign up. But then we just give these people a return, and this is kind of cool because you're a little bit more in control than hard money. You can negotiate with these people. You can ask them, what are you getting in the stock market? What looks better for you? And some people may be like, I'm cool with 7% annually. Well, 7% annually, that's amazing for you if you're paying, 10% annually with hard money plus 2 points. Here, right off the bat, you've already saved the points, right? So there's a bunch of different strategies I'm sure you're thinking of right off the bat of ways to be competitive in talking with people and kind of structure these different points and these percentages around to be more attractive to people where it makes more sense. So that's kind of as far as private financing goes, guys. It's pretty simple. Where it gets more technical is when you start filling out the forms and how do you do private financing? Well, you got to find somebody with money. You got to fill out a promissory note. I mean, there's a few legal aspects that need to be done. So that's going to be in a later on video. If you're interested, check the link below on YouTube, and I'll post more about my flipping school. But that's private financing, guys. The next way we'll talk about is a really cool way, which you may not know even exists, and this is called owner carry. And this is basically where the owner becomes the bank. So most people, well, I'm not going to say most people, but some people in America, and I want to say the percentage is like 60% or something like that, own their house outright, okay? So that means they don't owe any money on it. They're not borrowing money from a bank for it. And those people that own their house outright, you can easily go to them and ask them to be the owner, okay? And they become the bank. And the cool part about this is you can structure the deal however you want to. I'm just going to go over a really standard way of owner carry, okay? That I like to approach owners with, and it's called 555. And it basically just means I'm going to go to the owner and say, look, I'll buy your house, for $100,000 down, or for $100,000, purchase price. I'm going to put 5% down. Okay, so I'm going to put $5,000 down that I give to the owner right away. So now I only owe him $95,000 because I'm putting the $5,000 down. Okay, this other 5 is 5% annual interest. So it means that I'm going to pay him 5% on the $95,000 amount that's owed yearly. Okay, well, not yearly, but monthly. But it's the 5%'s on a year term, if that makes sense. And then basically this 5 is what's called a 5-year balloon. So a balloon payment basically just means that I'm going to pay him 5% of this monthly, okay? The 5-year balloon means after 5 years, okay, no matter how much money is left, okay, I don't have to pay him off. After 5 years, whatever's left, okay, if it's $50,000, let's say, is what's left after 5 years, I have to pay him that at the 5-year time. And that just basically means that you can refinance with a traditional bank. After you've built some equity, you can sell. And when you're flipping, I mean, it's not going to take you 5 years. If it does, you're in the wrong business. But owner carry, it's cool because, you have really low payments. You pay a really low interest rate. You don't pay any points up front. You've got a 5-year term, so if things overrun or if you'd rather hold on to the property for a little while, you can basically, hold the property for 3 months or however long you need to. You pay him, the 5% interest rate of your loan amount every month. But after, basically, you sell your flip, you just pay him off whatever's left and you're good to go. You're done. That's it. You do an owner carry, that's what that's called. And there's a form you fill out to do that, and it's recorded down at the title company, so everybody's, legit, legal. And that way you take, property in your name. So that's just one way of doing it. A lot of people would prefer to owner carry. You can also buy rentals with the owner carry. That's a great way. And then the last way I'll talk about is through partnerships. And this is how I buy most of my flips. So partnerships are pretty cool. Basically, you're looking for somebody maybe who's interested in flipping house, but they don't have the time, maybe they don't have the know-how, they're not taking the courses like you are. So they've got money and they want to see it work and they want to be part of the process, and it's exciting to a lot of people to be part of the flip. So the partnerships basically are just finding people who can secure a loan. And they're going to need money down, or maybe you've got the money but you don't have the credit. That's where the partnership comes in place. And you can find somebody to secure the loan. You can find somebody that's just got the cash up front who wants to, figure out a way to split profits, with you. So find a cash partner. There's a bunch of different ways to do this. You may partner up with somebody, an owner that already has a house, or they have a rental and they want to, fix it up. So maybe you figure out some sort of, agreement with them to split profits. There's a dozen ways to do it, but partnerships are key, and that's just one of the other ways that you can use to finance your flips. So that's all I've got for you guys in this video. I hope that was interesting for you, and I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, make sure to get in touch. But that's the basics on how to finance these properties. If you guys have any questions, if you want to learn more, make sure to sign up for my classes in my online school. I love teaching you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.